Hi, folks. Can Harris handle the Trump debate amid economic struggles and surging polls? It's Trump versus Harris debate, economic realities, and the polls. Hi, I'm Peter Boykin. This is hashtag Go Right with Peter Boykin, an American political commentator, a citizen journalist, an activist, and constitutionalist for liberty. I've also created a separate video where we go over the information about the setup of the debate. You might want to check that out. Before we start talking about the news, recently I'd just like to talk about censorship. Logged into Facebook just recently, immediately popped up and says, "Your post is removed." Would not tell me what the post was that they removed, or they said it was a comment. Would not tell me. Started proceeding to take away my ability to do a conference call or a video call or the use of my groups or the use of being paid, even though I'm not really getting paid, and also not being able to go live. So I'm happy I'm able to go live today until, October. This is the kind of crackdown that they do as it gets closer to the election. What's funny is I had no reason, didn't post anything. They said it was fraud, scam. I'm not frauding and scamming people. I actually report frauders and scammers. And I did contest it, and within about 10-15 minutes, all my stuff was restored. But yet they still did not show the comment that apparently they was removed. Don't know what was going on. But at least we're here. Now, as we gear up to the first debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, tensions are running high. Word on the street is that Kamala Harris has been holed up in a Philadelphia hotel for days doing highly coordinated rehearsals against a staffer dressed up as Donald Trump. Yes, you heard that right. Harris is essentially debating a fake Trump, an attempt to prepare for the real deal. It's a level of neuroticism that's telling. Imagine the level of preparation it takes to square off against Donald Trump, who's known for being unpredictable in debates. You have to wonder if this is how much preparation she needs to just face Trump on stage, how she'll handle the pressure when the heat is turned up. It's not the first time we've seen such neurotic behavior from Harris's team as they continue to try to paint her as a steady hand. Yet the question remains, is she ready for the pressure? But there's more at stake here than just debate tactics. The first Trump-Harris face-off will highlight the stark contrast between the two candidates. Not just on their policies, but in how they approach real-world issues. Let's go over economic hardships facing American families. Let's talk about something the mainstream media tends to gloss over. Real struggles American families face under the Biden-Harris administration. New data reveals that 17.9% of households with children are now food insecure. That's a significant jump from 12.5% just 2 years ago. There are not just numbers, these are families, many of whom are struggling to put food on the table. What does this say about the state of our economy? Bidenomics is working. How can Kamala Harris defend an administration that has allowed such a rise in hardship for American families? Meanwhile, 60% of Gen Z and millennial males are now focusing on their mental health. This is a promising sign of younger generations becoming more aware of their well-being. However, it also serves as a reminder of the mental strain many are feeling with the economy, job security, and overall uncertainty hanging over their heads. This is a growing issue that both candidates will need to address. But one wonders how Harris will spin this while defending an administration responsible for such and much of this anxiety. Meanwhile, the real economic picture, what the media won't show. The Biden-Harris regime has been busy touting the latest job numbers, but they conveniently leave out key facts that don't fit their narrative. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the U.S. economy added 142,000 jobs, slightly under the expected 161,000. Now, on the surface, this doesn't seem too bad. However, digging deeper reveals a different story. For starters, the Labor Department admitted to overestimating job growth in June and July by a combined 86,000 jobs. It's no accident either. This marks the sixth time in 7 months that they've inflated job numbers. While part-time jobs increased by 527,000 over the past year, a staggering 438,000 full-time jobs have disappeared. Even more concerning is the fact that jobs for native-born Americans have decreased by 1.3 million, while jobs for foreign-born workers have increased by 2 million. This is something the mainstream media has been avoiding. Americans consistently say the economy is their number one issue going on into the 2024 election. But the Biden-Harris administration continues to gloss over these facts while pushing a narrative that simply isn't backed by the data. The question is, will Harris be able to defend her administration's record during the upcoming debate? Trump's momentum and the polls that have Democrats worrying. It's not just the economy that Harris on the defensive. A new poll conducted by the New York Times and Siena College shows Donald Trump leading Kamala Harris by 1%. 48% to 47%. Personally, I still don't see how. I don't see how Kamala's even that high up. While that might not seem like much, it's critical to remember that polls historically overperform for Democrats. At this point in 2016, Hillary Clinton had a lead over Trump in the polls, yet we all know how that turned out. And believe me, they were already trying to repeat what they complained about in the 2016 election by already trying to say Russia misinformation. We're going to see more of that. Now, breaking down the numbers, Trump's support is surging across key demographics. He's garnering 17% of the black vote. That's the ones that will tell you. Up from 7% in 2020. 42% of the Hispanic vote, up from 31%. And 57% of the white vote, up from 44%. These gains suggest that the former president is connecting with a broad swath of voters across racial and ethnic lines, a fact that should give the Harris campaign serious pause. What's even more telling is that 60% of voters say they want the next president to bring, quote, major change. Only 25% believe Kamala Harris represents that change, compared to 51% who believe Trump does. As the polls tighten, the pressure is mounting on Harris to deliver a strong performance in the debate. But there are whispers that she's struggling behind the scenes. This is the moment where she'll need to convince voters she's up for the job. I think she'll just try to laugh her way through it. Meanwhile, political shifts and courtroom drama. Meanwhile, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has successfully won his legal bid to have his name removed from the ballot here in North Carolina, where I'm at, and Michigan. This may seem like a minor political maneuver, but it reflects deeper shifts in the political landscape. As more individuals seek to distance themselves from the Democratic Party's establishment, Kennedy's move is a symbolic strike at the heart of the party's current direction. It also raises questions about what role third-party candidates will play in this election cycle. Now, all I'll tell you is, because of this, they've changed the ballots, and they didn't want to here in North Carolina because they said cost. They can't send out the early ballots until everything is satisfied. And what's great is it doesn't give enough time for the Democrats to pre-fill ballots and potentially ballot stuff and cheat, like they probably did in 2020, allegedly. In other legal news, Judge Juan Merchan postponed sentencing in Donald Trump's non-disclosure agreement case until after the 2024 election. This is significant because it means Trump can focus on the campaign without the legal cloud hanging over him, at least for now. Trump has consistently called out the legal system for being politically motivated, and this delay only adds fuel to that fire. How will Kamala Harris, a former prosecutor herself, defend the legal system while standing opposite Trump on that debate stage? On a lighter yet revealing note, Kamala Harris's campaign has also flip-flopped on an issue. They've called it Kamala Chameleon. She's flip-flopped on the issue that may seem trivial but speaks volumes about her indecisiveness. Remember her 2020 stance on banning plastic straws? Well, she's now walked back on that position. It's a small example, but it's indicative of a larger pattern of inconsistency that's plagued her career. Will voters trust someone who can't even stick to a simple environmental stance? Adding to the political shift, Alan Dershowitz, a prominent attorney and long-time Democrat, has publicly announced that he is leaving the Democratic Party. He says he is disgusted by what the DNC has become in recent years. His departure isn't just symbolic, it's a reflection of the broader dissatisfaction many Americans are feeling with the Democratic Party's leadership. Dershowitz's move, while important, is a large part of the larger exodus of centrist figures who feel alienated by the radical leftward shift in politics. How will this resonate with voters who are also on that same fence? Here in North Carolina, the first major party, the more persons that are more registered than anybody else are unaffiliated voters. So it goes a long way. Now we're going to give you the hashtag GoRightRemix recap. As the Trump-Harris debate nears, Kamala Harris is deep in rehearsals, facing a stand-in for Donald Trump, a fake Donald Trump. I wonder if they've got the spray tan and everything. Yet, while she prepares for the debate stage, American families continue to grapple with worsening economic conditions. Nearly 18% of households with children are now facing food insecurity, which means they don't have enough food to eat, folks. And full-time jobs are disappearing. These are challenges that Harris will need to address, and they won't be solved by debate prep alone. The economic struggles are compounded by mental health concerns, particularly among Gen Z and millennials, who are increasingly focused on their well-being in the face of job insecurity and rising costs. Meanwhile, on the political front, Robert F. Kennedy has successfully removed his name from state ballots, signaling deeper dissatisfaction with the Democratic Party, a sentiment echoed by high political and high-profile figures such as Alan Dershowitz, who recently left the party. As the polls show, Trump is gaining momentum, outperforming Harris among key demographics, and this pressure on her to prove she can lead is going on, and the pressure is on. The heat is on. The heat is on. With both the economy and the public confidence on shaky ground, the upcoming debate will be critical. In closing, folks, stay updated on these important stories and more at GoRightNews.com. Find hashtag GoRight with Peter Boykin on Rumble, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. And if you'd like to support the cause, donate via Cash App at $Peter Boykin, the number 1. Links are available at GoRightNews.com and peterboykin.com. Keep informed, stay engaged, and together, let's keep America moving in the right direction. It's time to hashtag GoRightForAmerica. God bless everybody. Peace.